Hi, thank you for watching. This is Fernando Jimenez with Syntrax Support. Today we're going to be looking at Compleo For XML and how to build XML documents with this particular application. We're going to be looking at an invoice. I'll go ahead and open up Compleo For XML now so I can display for you this invoice that we're going to be working on. And this invoice is actually an invoice created by our ERP, and I'm going to display it for you right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Compleo For XML Wizard so we can start building XML and obviously have a look at what this particular invoice is showing us. So here we have critical information such as invoice number. At the bottom we have total invoice. We have line items. Line items are pretty tricky to grab, so today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to grab those line items as well. We'll grab other pertinent information here, perhaps the city, maybe the country, maybe the state, and we'll just go from there. So let's go ahead and start building XML here. This root element here is going to be called invoice. Okay. And we'll go ahead and start building elements here. This new element here, what we'll do is we'll start showing you how to create one single element. Country, for instance. Country is a value that's actually displayed on this foo file, this text file here, and that particular value is set forth at this point. So I'll just go ahead and click and drag so I can map it. What I can do now is I can create a child element under country, in this case tag 2, and tag 2 will be my state. And state, I'll go ahead and also make that a fixed position and just simply click and drag over the state itself. There we go. Simple as that. I can actually now show you the code or the XML as produced by Compleo For XML. We only have a few items, but you can tell that this is the proper structure for XML. So we're going to continue here creating, well, further developing this particular XML file. What I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and start working with these line items down here. Like I mentioned earlier, line items tend to vary in records. Today, in this case, we have 5 records. Tomorrow, we might have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How do we accommodate for grabbing every single one of those line items correctly? In Compleo For XML, what we can do is we can come up here to my invoice, and I'll create another child element. This child element is going to be called line items. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this particular set of rows or values or elements are going to depend on this particular line item repeating itself. So what I'll do is I'll indicate here that this repeats itself. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it how often or how frequent. What I'll do is I'll tell it to follow a certain pattern of lines. In this case, I'm going to come and click on element conditions here, click on my button there, and I'm going to tell this line item that if you ever find a combination of a dot here, I'll do it again, another one, and another maybe dot here, I'll do one more, this period over here. If you find this combination of conditions to be true for any line item, I want you to capture this as such, as a line item. Okay? So what I'll do now is I'm going to go over here, create a new child element. That child element is going to be my quantity, QTY. Okay? And here, as I did earlier with my other elements, I'll create a fixed position. And I'll indicate that this is actually held or stored in this area here. And if I wanted to, I can actually just do a preview just to show you that it's going to grab only everything I just mapped. So for line items, the only thing I've actually mapped today is quantity. Let's go ahead and continue mapping the other items. New child elements. And the next item here is UM. Value type is fixed position, so text within my file. I'll map it to here. Do another one. There we go, tag 6. Change that to item number, which is this column here. And I'll say it's also a fixed position. And I'll continue doing this all the way to the right until I'm grabbed, or I've grabbed every single one of these columns. So I'll do a few more. Tag 7. This is item description. All right. Value type, fixed position. And I'll grab from here all the way down to perhaps this area here. Do one more. Tag number 8 is the price. And my price is this area here. One more. New child elements. And this is my line total. Fixed position. And whatever is in this area, that will be my line total. Okay, I click on preview. You'll see that we have more information grabbed per line item. So that's how you would tackle your line items. Now, one more tricky thing that we need to capture as well is these subtotal lines. For instance, today I'll just show you, for the sake of time, show you just how to grab the total invoice. What you can do is you can go over to your root element. In your root element, you have some configurations, properties you can actually set. What we'll do is we actually have something called lock lines. I'll click on lock lines here. And what I'll do is I'll tell Compleo to look for this particular word called subtotal. And whenever you do find the word subtotal, anything including that particular line, I want you to push it down X number of lines to keep this line at a consistent or at a constant area. I'll click OK here. And that area or that line is currently set to 20. I don't want it to be 20. I actually want it to be 30 because that's the maximum number of line items that I can fit up to line 30. So I want subtotal and everything underneath it to appear there so that I can always grab it from there or map something from there. So click OK. And now you can see this thing is shifted down. So subtotal and everything beneath it will always show starting at this point. Now what I'll do is I'll create another child element under invoice, and here is tag, as I did with the other items, call it invoice total, fixed position. Just click and drag, and it'll be ready. I'll click preview, and there it is, at the very bottom. We have our invoice total. One more thing I'll do before I finish here is I'll create another child element under invoice, and this one's going to be called invoice number, and that will be mapped to the very top right of this file. So fixed position, and just simply map over this, and it's ready. I'll just click on, actually what I can do here is I can actually move this from the very bottom here to the very top. There we go. So now it's right under invoice. I can click on preview, and there is invoice number, country USA, the child element for USA is California, so on and so forth. I'll close this. Okay, so my template is ready. I'm actually able to recycle this particular template. I can actually do a file save as and have this applied to, we'll just say, today's XML sample. I'll just replace that document there. Click on, by document I mean the XML template. I'll click save. It'll replace that. And what I can do now is I can actually click on run template, and this will save an XML document somewhere, wherever I indicate. What I'll do is I'll show you what to do with the output of this document, or this XMT, this XML template. If you go over to your properties here, which is item number 5, you can actually select a folder, a predefined folder on your PC or on your network, and just map it there. Cancel out of that. You can give this final XML file a predefined name, which can be a combination of perhaps the invoice number that you selected or grabbed in one of your elements. You can also combine that with perhaps a timestamp and create unique identifiers for your file that way. Cancel there. The most critical item I would say here today is if you want to send this over to a web service, you actually can. Come down here to the Run With option, click on the Add button here, click on Send to Web Service, you click on Settings, and once you click on Settings, you enter the corresponding values for every single one of these properties, and you are good to go. And like I said, for any other item or invoice that your ERP creates, you can actually apply this very same template. You can also go as far as automating this entire template and applying it every single time one of your invoices is created so that it proceeds with creating the corresponding XML file. And that is actually done via Compleo Supervisor, I should say. So Compleo Supervisor is the automating tool. So if you have any questions or anything concerning this video or any other one of our softwares, please give us a call or email us at support@simtrax.com or sales@simtrax.com, and we'll be more than glad to help you. Thank you.